Welcome back, everybody. We have qualified 2 of our 4 intended teams already. A 3-0 to start the day, a 3-1 in the previous, and now St. Edwards goes up against Cal State Northridge. We've got Hilltoppers, we've got Matadors, and for St. Edwards, they're looking to punch their ticket to 2 straight consecutive playoff LAN appearances. But for CSUN, holy canola, where do these guys come from? The West region had looked to be maybe a weaker region, but CSUN has played some great COD over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, they have been. I mean, respawns have looked really, really good. You could see the improvement, I feel like, based off of what we were getting during the regular season. Their last couple of games over, yesterday, very, very tight, very, very close, a lot of improvement. So should shape up to be a great one here versus a team like St. Edwards.
Absolutely the case. I mean, both of these two teams have had a lot of notoriety built into them. One, off of the roster and returning nature of St. Edwards. Where on the other side, CSUN have taken some very tough opponents the distance. Most notably, when these two teams had played before, though, St. Edwards yesterday didn't have too much of an issue with CSUN, but the thing was CSUN did have a final matchup versus St. Clair, which, boy, I'll tell you, they played tremendously tight.
Yeah, that one really was, back and forth just about the whole way through. So very much looking for something similar today. But as you mentioned, I mean, St. Edwards, able to have at least a little bit of an advantage based off of what we've seen in maybe some of these games on, coming through for us. But we'll see if they can try to actually match up against them, really match the respawn pressure, I think, is the big factor as you look through the highlights here based off of what we've gotten. But it's been very special, I think, with these two teams with a lot of history.
Sorry, I misspoke. I meant to mention that St. Edwards in the CSUN game, this was the losers finals, or losers semifinals, rather, I should say, when they played against each other during the regionals. Yesterday, CSUN took down a team like Newberry, who had initially looked like to be one of the stronger teams coming into this playoff bracket out of their region. So, decent opportunity for CSUN to kind of do some homework, get back to work. But on the other side for St. Edwards, this roster is fully loaded. Thresh, Eons, Vanity, Reality, all 4 players returning from last year, but improved, especially when you look at a player like Thresh. He has stepped into what has been his Super Saiyan year, with challengers going really well for him so far.
Yeah, it's been an insane turnaround, right? It's hard not to talk about this man. He just jumps off the roster. He has been one of the best ARs that we've had, during the season. It feels like when you watch this guy, he's not missing. He's always in the right place at the right time. And there's a lot of trust in him to go big, clutch up. He has that factor. And, he's probably been one of the reasons why this team has been doing extremely well, because he's got great members alongside him to complement it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the cool thing about this roster is their ability to maintain and improve throughout not just this year, but also what's coming, for years to come, if this team does stick together because of how young they actually are in their collegiate careers. On the other side, for CSUN, again, I think their biggest thing was yesterday. They really showed that they are for real. They're not just going to be a fringe team out in the West. They're going to show up and give you something to think about. Polo, Torment, Dylan, Ruben, all of them looking really solid in their matchups yesterday during groups. The win versus Newberry, as mentioned, and the unfortunate drop in map number 5 did not quite show up to that final search and destroy against St. Clair, but the rest of that series was really tight.
Yeah, definitely. I think they look really good. Specifically, we had members like Torment, Dylan kind of going off there. We were seeing through the respawns, the control, even a couple of key moments coming through in that S&D in the map number 2, where they looked very convincing, which is not easy to do, over a team like St. Clair in that map number 2. So, yeah, this team, real deal. They can step up. And, again, it's another team where you feel like if they get hot or one of these players starts to catch fire, a lot of them just start to follow on through and get right into that groove with them.
Well, let's take a look to see how these two teams would square up. Again, for St. Edwards, the more notorious season record allows them a chance to kind of have some sort of favor when it comes especially to the respawn. 12-6 in control in particular, really impressive. On the other side, though, you look at the search and destroy, pretty even footing, and actually the 19-8 across both of these teams hardpoint wise may lead us to some really close maps here in the 1, 2, 4, and 5, a series that could possibly be determined by this control. It's still just one of those things, though, that I hate to mention it, but it merits to be said. You look at these two teams on paper, and I think everyone in their right mind would say that St. Edwards hold a significant advantage just based on the experience, the veterancy, and just the track record that roster of 4 has with them. Whereas for CSUN, this would still be, I think, categorized as an underdog run for them.
Yeah, it definitely is an underdog run, and I mean to take out a team like St. Edwards would really start to spark up a certain conversation heading into the LAN if they were able to do it. And I mean we've already seen one pretty crazy upset on the day, so why not throw another in there if we could get it? But you're definitely right in saying that I think a lot of people certainly have St. Edwards as the favorite, and if you're going to have a win here in this series, you're really going to have to battle out in these hard points. Be a little bit more convincing, I would say, in that mode specifically, since they're so tight, both 19 and 8.
All right. Let's take a look at it. Map series layout for us. Best of 5 series for our third LAN qualifier matchup. Embassy, El Asilo, Expo, Hotel, and Embassy is the lineup. That Expo control, man, we talked about how the control could be a little bit of a throw-up when it comes, or toss-up, rather, not throw-up. That'd be a different type of control. A little bit of a toss-up for both these two teams. Why not throw another little wrench in the system by bringing in the most recent map to the mix?
Yeah, how about it? Both teams actually played it yesterday, and both teams actually did lose 3-2. So there's obviously been, a little bit of reps kind of taken on it, very recently. You could go back and watch maybe some of that VOD too to kind of get an idea of play styles. But this has been one of the newer ones thrown into the mix. So I love that we have it. And then you take a look at our hardpoint maps. I mean, Embassy and Hotel, again, you're looking at, what is primarily going to be ARs, I feel like, in this series that are going to be leading the charge with all of these massive maps that we have here through the set.
Yeah, I think that's a really big shout. And interesting. We're getting word here from our back-end production staff that Torment is actually not playing today. Prophecy is going to be subbing in. So that also kind of throws a bit of a wrench in, because I thought Torment played pretty solid yesterday based on the kind of the late-stage games that I saw them play versus St. Clair. So that kind of puts a little bit of a mix-up into the whole expectation system that we already have. Not sure what that means. Does this make CSUN better, or does it make them worse? Hard to say. I think the biggest thing about it is this still technically is leaning towards like a David versus Goliath situation, considering the rosters that were already on paper, and now potentially re-influencing that more with, I thought, one of their better players yesterday not being able to play.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what kind of an effect that's going to have on them, not only, in the game, but also, mentally coming into it, right? Knowing that's not been your main guy, how does that offset the vibes coming into your matchup? How is that going to throw off maybe the comms and the decision-making kind of happening throughout the map? It throws a curveball in there, and it's not something that we see too often, especially, in a pivotal match like this where, it decides your fate on whether or not you continue or not, right? So when this much is riding on it, you just don't know what's going to happen, and if they, crumble under the pressure, if a map one goes really bad or something like this.
Yeah, it's a really big point, and I don't know. Hopefully, the ability to kind of still lock things up, be in a position to trust that the system's not going to break because a teammate is out and different players subbing in. Yeah, there's going to be that level of trust that now starts to be questioned. And again, especially just comparing the team on the other side that has played together now for almost 2 full seasons. There's a significant amount of advantages that we keep throwing towards St. Edwards. And I think rightfully so, just based on the head-to-head matchup, and maybe even more so, like we continue to talk about, with the fact that there is a new fourth now in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, the history doesn't lie either, right? They've already found success. They have been a team that, has been able to have a very big impact throughout CCL. So not an easy matchup, but you have to find a way to regain. You're still here. You still have a chance. You can still get, Torment to the LAN. So there's still very much a chance to do so. And, based off of what we did see yesterday, if we could even replicate a bit of what was happening in the S&Ds, in the controls, and improve maybe the hard points somewhat to keep them tight, then I still think that there is a chance. But, it's always difficult. You just don't know how that fourth player is going to be, and we're going to have a lot of eyes on, his individual impact, I guess, to the roster as well as we go throughout the maps.
Absolutely. And just to kind of speak to the macro, zooming out from the rosters playing each other, this would be really cool to see another new team being added into the LAN. Just off the fact that CSUN, coming out of the West in previous years, has always, again, kind of been like New Mexico State, right there in the mix, but not quite able to get over the hurdle of the major favorites that happen to be out in that Western region, especially now that Texas is kind of looped into that Western side of things. So yeah, this would be cool to see CSUN kind of improve and hurdle the next step to becoming maybe a major threat in the esports scene. Otherwise, St. Edwards, who have a lot of success built behind their program already, would be able to kind of boost that with a back-to-back LAN appearance here at the CCL, with a chance to improve upon their placement from last year. As a reminder, here were the round-robin LAN qualifier groups that took place throughout yesterday. CSUN opened their group playing up against Newberry, and they looked good during it. Whereas on the other side, though, St. Edwards, to be fair, they were tested, man. They had to play up against a very frisky Rutgers team who kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people and then had to take down that SIUE squad, and they did that actually with some pretty good conviction, only dropping the search and destroying that best of 5 series.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Respawns looked, I mean, completely on point. A lot of them, just about 100-point differential when you're looking at the respawns. And I think that's why I've continued to kind of bring up this point for CSUN, because you look at some of their games that they were playing yesterday versus St. Clair, they were struggling to hit like 100 points in some of those games. So with a sub coming in and this being one of the pivotal modes here for St. Edwards, you never know what's going to happen. But let's see if we get some magic here from CSUN as we jump into map number 1.
Here we go. Opening kill's good. Thresh gets the double. St. Edwards immediately on towards the hard point for some early time. And I mean early time. It's only Prophecy who gets the opening kill. St. Edwards locking down these long lanes, but good win from Rue. Chance to jump back over, neutralize the hard point, if not jump in his own effort. Still waits for the next point of contact, though, and Reality will give it to him by jumping on the hard point. Kill is good, and well, I thought Ruben would have a chance to jump into the hard point right there, but instead is focused on rotation, so still off the scoreboard for the moment are the Matadors.
Yep. Able to find some good kills, and maybe now a chance just to collect 10 seconds before looking toward the rotation, but Stuns and Nade's going to certainly hold up Polo here for the time being. He'll now make his move and try to get across, see if they can break open the setup. Vanity's got a good read and a good pinch, and he'll find 2. Might be able to get 3, but Prophecy able to get the trade.
That's just, again, what you come to expect here. The subs can get it going. I remember at one point last year, we were looking at the St. Edwards squad. We knew kind of what to expect from players like Vanity and Thresh, but Eons looked unbelievable at different moments early in the Vanguard year. Same could be said about Reality as well. So 36-10 the count. Prophecy, I mean, what a start he's had. 7-3.
Yeah.
Now into the hard point for a little bit of time here. Is there still 27 seconds to fight over?
Yeah, no one else has really been able to get on the board, but Prophecy fighting 1 HP, wants to try to collect some scrap time, and his teammates are actually already fighting for the rotation. Little 2 versus 2 taking place, and over the top, Eons able to get the best of Polo. That one really going to sting. Could have set themselves up for a nice transition, but now going to have to look for a break.
Need to find a way to start putting some conviction into play here if you're CSUN on the new hard points. St. Edwards, right as soon as you rotate, come away with 3 kills. And that means that this is going to be about 20 seconds of free time here. Could be worse than that, though, if Prophecy drops and Eons continues to build towards the streak. That is a nice little alarm system saying thanks for the trophy call. Know that you're here. Easy kill. So that's now 5 in a row. And St. Edwards have a really solid read on where this hit is coming from. Reality attempting for the spray down through the wall. Did not connect. Now has to take his attention to the hill itself, and the help is unbelievable. A chance still to hold. Prophecy looking for the break with 30 seconds. Gets on in. Immediately traded. Dylan trying to follow up, but no. St. Edwards will lock down the majority of the time.
Oh, Eons is on 7. He's already earned himself the streak. Should have it in that back pocket. And, well, Polo wants to try to give it another look. This is a big 20 seconds to let them have for free, but Eons is ready. 8 in a row now for him as he collects the scrap time. His teammate's going to start to look towards Office, and they're already finding convincing kills.
Yeah, I'll say. I know we swapped to Dylan's perspective right there. He's only 2 and 10. You talk about a sub difference starting to come into play. Eons is on a 9 spree, whereas Dylan is having a hard time even getting going. 89-36 as we get to administration. Thresh in the hallways. The rest of his team kind of focused on the outside and the back. Good read here from Reality, but better initiation from CSUN. How about that? Polo gets in for the double. There's the full team wipe, and the Matadors all of a sudden with their first convincing break.
Yeah, that's one of the good moments that we'll see so far here in this map up to this point that could really maybe change the tides and start to lock in some time. 30 seconds up for grabs. St. Edwards want to give it one more go here, but from the side, Ruben's good for another. Thresh and Vanity just poking and prodding, trying to get inside, and they will work through for the scrap time. Good 20 seconds to get St. Edwards over 100.
Looking good for it, at least at the time being. Reality tested inside. Okay, the Matadors starting to string it together a little bit on rotation. Looking good after they've walked away with the admin winners. Dylan for his 3rd kill. Going to be responsible for laundry. Teammates in and around the backside of the point will also track down Eon. So how about this for a little bit of clearance? Now through the middle of the map. Prophecy and Dylan get to work. Semtex out, trying to track it down. And how about the Matadors? Don't sleep on them. A chance for them to start to put together some streaks of hills and maybe even some streaks of their own if they continue to kill like this.
Yeah, they're fighting a lot of isolated gunfights, but turning at the wrong time is Dylan, and there is the break. Should be good now to get themselves in and potentially set up, but we know how this hill goes. We'll see a couple more hits come on through here for CSUN. Vanity, though, he's just getting a great read on this. Good damage in, but the trade's a little bit better here. CSUN, a chance to try to get the time, but not for free. Eons responds back.
And Rouge just a little bit late here. Eon's going to be off of regen. Oh, only a touch, though. Vanity trying to follow up, and he will finally lock in this scrap time. But a nice follow-up and kind of final battle from CSUN through the 4th and 5th hard points. And maybe they're actually looking to play for exit kills here. Greedy trying to take Vanity out of a key position, and that will lead to now another convincing kill feed. Prophecy, the only one to really tally much of a position, as he will win a gunfight up top towards Paper. Stun will go down, has Vanity in lock, and yep, how about the read?
Huge.
Well done by Prophecy, 18 and 11, keeping the Matadors in it.
Listen, Prophecy has answered the call, man. He's 18 and 11. He's doing everything he possibly can to set his team up with the map control, but it really has been some of those close-range battles. You can see Dylan, he gets going in that last point, but is still struggling to kind of get even and put together quite a few kills. But Prophecy, if he can keep this up, he's certainly given his team a chance. Just need to see more convincing kills around the hard points.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. 154-84 the count. 15 seconds left on the first hard point, but both teams more focused on getting over towards new. Vanity says, okay, well, I haven't seen anybody in a while, so I'll just go ahead and take these extra seconds. Thank you very much. And in that same breath, a full clear of the bottom side of the minimap comes out for the Hilltoppers. Prophecy, Thresh, 1v1. Oh boy, it's a testy one at well, but Thresh just more cover to work with. Locks in the gunfight, and now Ian says, let's go ahead and call in a streak. And he may catch all of these Matadors on rotation, but no, actually, they don't drop at all. Vanity trying to follow up as soon as he's off the iPad. That's good for one. Players all around him as he continues to kind of dance for space to work with, but the Matadors secure the trade, plus the kills to neutralize the hard point. Eons will also drop, and CSUN will have a chance to fight for the back 35.
Back 35. You really need this right now, or this game just gets a little bit too out of hand. And not only that, but you also kind of need to win the rotation. So quite a long laundry list from here on out, but St. Edwards are certainly meeting a little bit of pushback here around P2. They'll finally break on in and deal with the 2 remaining members, and that should put them over 200 points as they start to already rotate to the next hill.
Yeah, and the subs catching these players with knives out is just never fun, because this is the Matadors trying to create a bit of a buffer between them and the hard point, but they're just missing out on where these subs are coming from. Vanity in trouble. Somehow still alive. Good help from his teammates, and that's enough for another break attempt to come through. And St. Edwards over the 200-point threshold now.
And Eons has just been silently running around the map with 25 kills.
Yes.
He's not been on the time much because he's just slaying everything else, trying to make its way to time. And very difficult to deal with. CSUN now basically need this break right here, right now, and up the ladder. No one's watching it. Olo says thank you very much for 2. Almost says thanks for 3. Prophecy somehow able to get maybe the trophy down just in time. Nade doesn't blow him up, and he's able to play his life. He is dealing with multiple threats and still puts together 2.
Thresh over the top of the ladder. Okay, that was the last challenge likely for St. Edwards. A long journey, though, ahead of CSUN. Scrap time will be good. Can they put together another solid break here, though, towards admin? Opening gunfights just get flat out traded. Polo from the high ground. Drops on in. Hard point not open yet. No need to get greedy here if you're Polo. You're essentially blocking spawns, but he does have a lot of nice shots into Eons. Wants to chase, follow up this kill. Teammate's not quite here yet, and oh boy, that's just not what you want. I think it was looking for a shoulder, but gets caught on the reload. Eons, Vanity finding the kills, and now CSUN 15 seconds away from finding themselves down 0-1 in the series.
Have to break in. Have to have it now. And through the back, they're being shut down. Prophecy just can't find anything, and yeah, nobody's finding the trades necessary.
Wow.
St. Edwards, they strike first in map number 1. They'll take it pretty convincingly, as they're nice and cozy there, 1-0 up here in the best of 5.
Yeah, it kind of feels almost very similar to the Mars Hill opening hardpoint, right? Where,
sure,
you know, or not the opening, but map 4 and it's also the opening, where it just feels like St. Edwards are just finding so much more presence on the map from literally all over. I mean, on rotation, setting up for new, finding opportunities to break from multiple angles. It just all keeps going the way of St. Edwards right then and there. And now you kind of have these moments where CSUN are kind of involved, finding a way to try to chip back, but ultimately you can't keep those trends going. Otherwise, you find yourself down by nearly double the points, which is exactly what we just saw right here, right then. So Man, tough scenes for CSUN. Decent fight, but a slow start from one of your four players, and Dylan doesn't help. And I think just on top of that, St. Edwards was just better at working for the majority of the hard point time, whether that be off initial or off of the back time of scrap.
And that's when we like really start to praise, you know, the ARs on a map like this. We talk about Thresh, right? We talk about what Reality was also able to do, and it just always feels like you're running into them while they're set up on a heady. You know, it's always the power position that it feels like that they're in. So difficult for Dylan to really get involved, and just couldn't really find any momentum to roll with there, even after his little spree he had on P5 through the first set. Not enough, and you can see it here. Prophecy was doing everything he could, man. Like, he had a lot of great moments, and if there's one telling thing, you know, from this, especially as the other three members with the sub coming in, it's like, okay, our sub is going off. We also, you know, can absolutely win this series. You have to kind of have that confidence, you know, knowing what he's just been able to do individually.
Yeah, it's just tough because, you know, even if you take the status right here, right now, it's just no one can turn these kills into hardpoint time. 25 and 18, 18 and 14 for Rue. Like, Prophecy and Rue had a great game, but I mean, no hardpoint time for Dylan, and he's not obviously finding kills as he's roaming because he was, you know, 2 and 10 at one point in time. Now, granted, he picked it up by the end, but still, it's one of those things where if your roamer isn't finding enough kills to get onto the hardpoint, either someone has to make the comm and the adjustment saying, hey, Dill, get on the hardpoint. Like, they're finding the kills they need to get on the hill, but he just wasn't in a position to ever really do that. I mean, even 17 of the 25 kills for Prophecy were non-traded. 13 of the 18 for Rue were non-traded. But just no hard point time compared to the other side of the board where you have three members well over a minute, almost all four.
Yeah, just almost all four. Eon's 29 kills, man. He was the one that got the snowball started when he had that like P2 to P3 rotation, and he found like 2 to 3 kills up top. I think that's when he also earned the streak as well very early on. So you're already in that flow, and it's difficult to shut that down early. And obviously Eon's never slowed down as he almost ends with a 30 bomb. It's closer, then, you know, that number is much, much bigger. But 22 of those non-traded, doing everything he possibly can while his teammates just kind of soak up time. Fresh doing his thing, just about double positive, sitting in the back and just anchoring out the spawns.
Yeah. Okay. So first map goes the way of St. Edwards. Pretty much clean from start to finish. LSCLO Search and Destroy comes up next. Again, both teams hold a very even record across the hardpoint and the search. The question mark lies with the control, but like we've kind of seen so far in the day, and what we often say when we get to a position is, you know, when there's an underdog story on one side, you just don't want to go down 0-2 as the underdog. So easy for us to say that CSUN needs to come into the Search and Destroy and tie up this series, I think, if they want to have a chance at this best of 5.
Yeah, and it's good news, I feel like, on the other side for CSUN, right? St. Edwards did play this yesterday, did lose it 2-6, so maybe not one of their more favorable Search and Destroy maps here. You might be able to pick them apart a little bit. And we always kind of bring it back to the fact that this is a massive chess game. You have to adapt. You have to kind of make those adjustments round to round here and kind of figure out how they're playing, throw a couple of different curveballs in, and see how you're going to be able to do it here. Because it feels like the AR pressure, maybe working through the sidelines, could be how St. Edwards find picks, create number advantage, and then maybe work into the sites. But this is at least a big chance for the sub duo on the other side for CSUN to really get back into it.
Yep, I agree. Have to find a way to make it work, though. Have to find a way to make it happen.
Have to.
All the things that you want to see in Search and Destroy, finding proactivity, getting your playbook off the ground from the word go, keep your opponent kind of as the one who needs to adjust. That's the things you need to see. Again, Search and Destroy, you know, out of 11 total rounds, is not a lot of time to play with. You get like 3, maybe 4 goes at offense before, well, maybe even 2 or 3 goes at offense or defense before you have to either say, hey, we have the flexibility to throw curveballs, or hey, we need to start adjusting. Like, there's not a lot of time to make those check calls. And then that's something that I think CSUN is really going to be stressed on, because the St. Edwards team has been one of the more flexible teams, I would say, pretty much throughout the last 2 seasons, especially in the Search and Destroy. I'm thinking back to numerous, like, Bacage searches last year where St. Edwards were just so quick to turn things around, and all of a sudden, you're the team that's behind the 8 ball playing up against the St. Edwards team because their adjustments are so fast.
Right, and I think the good news is, too, coming into a Search and Destroy with a sub, is that it's probably the most likely mode that you're going to be able to take, I feel like, because Prophecy should be able to come in there and say, okay, what do you guys want to do, and what do you need out of me? What do I need to fill? It's a lot easier, I feel like, to fulfill, you know, the substitution role in a Search and Destroy than it is a respawn, where it takes a lot more reps and understanding of how each other kind of want to set up and break, or set up and hold, whatever it might be. I feel like you could have more pop-off moments. You can find a pick and then just use numbers to overwhelm one side of the map. It's a little bit easier, I guess, is the point that I'm getting to here, for a chance to win with that substitute, especially with the way that he's already playing throughout that map 1.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know more about what the comms were for that change. Was Prophecy originally a starter? Was something wrong with what we saw kind of coming from the other fourth in the mix? I don't know. I'd just be really interested to see what exactly had happened for that change to happen, because it's a great opening for Prophecy without question. This comes down to, are they missing potential firepower by not having their normal fourth that played yesterday? Hard to say. Could be other situations that have gotten in the way as well. So, St. Edward's enjoying a 1-0 lead pretty comfortably. It's on the onus of CSUN to come out and make them sweat a little bit here, and Dylan's going to start with a sniper rifle.
I like it. Doesn't have the best map one, but hey, we're all here for a little bit of redemption. Dylan not going to connect with the first shot, and well, that player now going to simply reposition, run away, try not to give him another angle, but Vanity's slowly pushing up, and Dylan has no idea. Should be able to find him. He knows he was sniping back here, but doesn't check.
Oh, he wants to kind of come behind these offensive members inside just because they're losing out on the numbers. So even though you would love to isolate Dylan, there's really, you have to get 2 kills here. And this play is the correct one, I think, to try to blow up the round and get you back to level terms. But Dylan does connect, leaving everything on to Vanity, who may have to play for some sort of ninja situation here. It's just, there's no way you get a kill and don't get looked at by 3 different angles immediately after that.
Yeah, it's, yeah, that's all I got, Alan. I agree. Not much you're going to be able to do from this position besides just World Star 3 other members after finding the first. And not even going to have a chance at finding the first. But, yeah, I mean, you can see what Vanity was doing. You wanted to wait. You wanted to slow push. But I was still thinking, like, you would just do a quick check to your right to see if the sniper's still there, right? He was just in a position to find Dylan. Took a secondary shot. Might have pushed up to try to finish him off and actually, bring it home fully. So just doesn't do that little right check, and Dylan does end up finding one a little bit later on. So still hurts them in the end, but nonetheless, a great opening round here for CSUN.
Yep, and I love the idea of the sniper rifle coming out and then making sure that you're using that pressure through A to turn it into numbers on the zone itself. Like, as soon as you read that your player that's defending towards outer A tower backs up, you've got numbers to hit onto A quickly. So I love that commitment as well from CSUN to kind of reinforce. Ruben up top, nice shots coming out. Reality, I think, trying to send a little bait so Eons can get a look at him, but ultimately, both players will back to their respective corners, and we'll stay 4v4 with no first blood here.
No first blood. A lot of checking, and now you're starting to see Eons just make his move, try to find Polo inside the site. Prone shot there, does get the shoulder, and the confirmation that there is one inside. I don't think there is a trophy down for Polo here, so he might be under fire, and yeah, here comes the stuns and the nades. Door's gonna shut. Eon's able to get the trade, but Polo's at least able to get one before he drops.
And Eons is in a little bit of trouble here still, too. Does get the regen, collects the bomb, and actually has been given a lot of space to potentially even follow up with a plant. Dylan sniping, trying to deny the post plant up top, but I mean, this is one of those situations where someone else has got to step in here. Rue, Prophecy, working on the outsides, looking in. Dylan's still focused on 3 things at once, and he's going to be giving up the high ground position to try to challenge inside. This doesn't feel good if you're Dylan right now. I mean, he's just slow peeking corners. Eon's ready for it, but Dylan still connects with the headshot. Turns the sniper rifle into a sub. But can't quite hold the angle. Even Prophecy by himself. He's going to try to hop it.
Oh, I like this.
Nearby, hasn't checked yet, but he will. Or will he? No, he won't.
No, he won't.
The defuse comes through.
I love that. I mean, oh my God, what a bluff that is. There's 16 seconds on the clock. It's like the worst possible position to be in a 1v1 because they have enough time to hop it, or they have enough time to simply wait 5 seconds and then challenge you and hop it. So Fresh is caught in a very interesting spot where he's trying to throw baits. He's trying to make little sound cues, but he never bites. He just sticks on it and brings home the defuse. You got to tip that. I love that play.
That's just not a play that you would assume Thresh doesn't check. He's full HP. Man.
That's the gamble.
That is the gamble. Big. So now Dylan back with the scope, 3 rounds in a row. He's found some good success with it so far. May have a chance on the Thresh. Misses just a bit wide. But once again, this wins the over top outside portions of B for CSUN. This is going to be painful.
You know something's up. Hello. Oh, a little bit awkward. He gets there, though. Rue a little bit surprised, I'm sure, as there was no noise made from that play. But Prophecy able to find Vanity, and that's going to even us up here. Eon's, though, in the position to disrupt everything. This might force the play to go elsewhere, or Dylan might just pick up a freebie and says, thanks for the Vast
Wow.
F.
Getting away with a lot right now, I'll say that much. And the bomb will make its way over towards that opened up B site. Quick plant on the way. Prophecy shutting the door into the face of one at Tools. Does not quite catch Thresh on the backside angle, though, and that's going to feel pretty bad. Thresh is now saying, all right, you want to play quick diffuses. Let's play quick diffuses. Hops in. Reality, a couple of shots over. Prophecy checks, but no. Does not. Oh, pardon me. He does get the kill in time. I thought for a second that the diffuse had come out, but no, the elimination's there, and CSUN go up to a quick 3-0 start.
Oh, they sure do, yeah. They know what's up. Thresh trying to get a little revenge there from the previous round. Wants to just stick it, see if he can get away with it too. And sometimes that does work. Sometimes you see those ninja diffuses, go back and forth. But not that time. Good check comes through. Prophecy's been great so far. 4-1. Just huge round for him to kind of open up a lot of that space to actually get over to B there initially. In a 3-0 advantage. I mean, St. Edwards have had no responses thus far.
Yeah, I'll say. And Dylan may have an opportunity to tee off. Oh! Thought he was going to get the full line up there for a double, but only takes down one. Very aware that the threat is still imminent. Trying to create some space to work with. Get the sniper rifle to connect once more. As the bomb is working B, Vandy and the rest of St. Edwards are trying to clear the high ground. Risky call, but it works out. Rue will drop. Dylan's still in a place to contest, though. Misses the opening shot. He's been good with the pistol. Gonna have to do it again. Oh my goodness, doesn't miss a shot. Little stun at his feet as well as the bomb is now dropped and CSUN hold the numbers.
That is a nasty play. Great stun, and now Vanity, I mean, he is caught out in the open, and his teammate blocks him from getting back into the door. Wanted the Dolphin dive in there to get away from the nade, but it's not going to happen. And I mean, CSUN, they are just playing clinical. Third in the chart right now. They're not making any mistakes. They're constantly playing with numbers. And I mean, they're finding kills and then repositioning and constantly keeping them guessing. Yeah,
the first blood tally is going to be really convincing, pending, of course, the scoreboard works, which it probably won't because reasons. But the first bloods out of Dylan have been great. The numbers advantages going into post-plant situations have been at least +1, if not +2 at times for CSUN. So, I mean, their executes, both on the offensive side and even on the defensive side, have been really good. Not allowing a single plant yet for St. Edwards. This time, a little bit of aggression being shown by the subs for the Hilltoppers. Reality can only watch the cross. He does see Rue up top, but that's mutual information that Rue collects the first blood again on, and the bomb will be planted here at B.
Eons needs to try to make a play, at least eliminate the player at the back, and he is going to wrap all the way around for Dylan. This should catch Dylan off guard. There's almost no reason that you would ever turn to look unless he runs right past him. Surely he sees him. Okay, he sees him. Eons gets the first. 3v3 we go.
And Prophecy cuts him off. And now the post plant has to be broken down from the front. Vanity tossed into nades, opening up doors. Stun lands. Shots to Rue. Good for the kill. Quickly around the corner. Needs to find this kill and hop. Prophecy's on his way back over to assist. Polo hasn't checked the bomb yet. Halfway defused. There's the kill. And that may just be the round right then and there. Thresh, well, thought about the little ninja, but no. Not going to happen. It's CSUN. Goodness, 5-0 up, and it just stays near perfect for the Matadors.
It does. I mean, nothing is going right either. That stun actually hit Polo, but because he knows one player is already in the site, he's assuming that the stun probably connected onto him. He's not expecting a second to be back there, so he never goes to check. And, well, Polo just surprises him as he's slowly going for that defuse. Man. This is just an insane turnaround. Again, for anyone that's tuning in, like, this is with a sub. This is with Prophecy coming on into the roster. And to see what could be a potential 6-0 here in the map number 2, it's just mind-blowing.
Unreal. Thresh stunned up, a little bit of trouble, but for the first time, St. Edwards will have an opportunity to go into an early round with numbers. 4v3 situation. Hit towards the bomb site comes out. Not good trades for St. Edwards. We get to a 2v2 bomb down right in front of Dylan, who is throwing a curveball out this time, not sniping. He's got a sub in hand for this round.
It has to escape with his life, and hopefully he doesn't run right into Thresh, and Thresh is there. As of Vaznef now in his back pocket. Challenge comes through immediately for Prophecy, goes to the knife, and just completely deletes Thresh up close. It's a good play, but not enough to get away with his life. Finally, a round on the board for St. Edwards.
Wow. It just felt like when Prophecy gets that knife, it's just like, all right, they're just getting away with everything. Like, CSUN could do no wrong. But long way for St. Edwards to go before we can really start giving them much effect here. But reality on 2, maybe a streak could help, but we're still far away from that as well. So it just all CSUN still in a round that was still nearly enough to get him to a 6-0 tally. Reality, Vanity trying to play aggressively. This isn't going to work out. It's all been scouted, and there is no exit for Reality. This is how it ends. Another B hit from CSUN comes through successfully.
Yeah. They've been so good on this B attack, and it looks like it will likely be the round. This is not an easy retake. And Thresh has already been sniffed out too. He is low. Prophecy's there to finish him off. And how about it? CSUN Esports with a hot response to the map number 2 take the 6-1 victory in LSC Search and Destroy.
Wow. Okay. Just as good as the hard point was for St. Edwards, CSUN something up their sleeves here in the LSCLO, and that thing up their sleeve happens to be Dylan with the sniper rifle. 8-3. Actually got a couple of kills with the pistol. 8-2 for Prophecy, so really good collective play from both the guy that didn't perform all that well on the hard point and the sub once again in the mix. So great stuff for CSUN to get us to a 1-1 tie, and for St. Edwards, it's kind of like a you're spun around kind of dizzy after that last map. It's like, what just happened?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to explain it, right? Like, so many just like unfortunate moments that played out, but a lot of just, yeah, like not really understanding maybe what's unfolding and what's actually happening around them. And before they know it, it just feels like numbers were almost always in favor of CSUN. But this round, I think, was really the dagger, right? Like, that's where they started to build off of it. Thresh had a chance at just finding it there and tying it up early, but it got away from them and got away from them fast.
Wow. I mean, what do you say? That may have been it right there, right? Like, St. Edwards not even able to get past one another, let alone CSUN. A little body block. But it is surprising, I will say, to kind of see the lack of success from the SMGs for St. Edwards in moments where they were trying to play aggressive. And maybe some of that has to do with the fact that, you know, Cal State, Northridge continue to kind of make plays happen offensively towards B, so it kind of kept, you know, the subs out of the play from doing much early towards like things like bottom bar. But
for sure,
it is surprising to see St. Edwards not be able to get away with their stapled aggression on the Surge.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you there. It feels like most teams, you know, kind of drive their focus into the bottom pool room or try to get top balcony control on the attack, you know, and then work for kills or work for information from there. But it didn't really feel like that's the way that they were playing. A lot of their rounds were, you know, through the outskirts, even when, like, through the first, like, 1 to 3, like, Dylan was bringing that scope over to the left side in the red tower on the attack. You know, he was working for those picks, just trying to draw maybe resources over or just keep them interested enough to allow other members to make plays like we were seeing there from Polo. And, you know, Prophecy was also finding quite a few kills. But Dylan, 8 for 8 non-traded. How about that?
Yep. I mean, dude, everything was sniper rifle or pistol. I mean, he was getting away with it all. So, welcome back, everybody. A 1-1 map count as CSUN put everyone on notice with a convincing win on the Search and Destroy, only dropping a single round. But now things get a little crazy because we go into a control where CSUN and St. Edwards both have not really had any overwhelming results when it comes down to this mode in particular across both the regular season and playoffs. And on top of that, it's also an expo to add a little bit more mystery into the mix.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is best case scenario, honestly, you know, for CSUN Esports, because we just saw them come off a very convincing map number 2. Is a huge resurgence that they can now build off of going forward. And like you said, expo is one of those maps that is still very new into the rotation. So it feels like there's just a lot more variables compared to the other ones that we've had throughout the entire year. So who knows what happens here. Both teams did lose in about 3-2 fashion, so, you know, played it very close, but really hard to kind of have expectations going up against one another here once again.
Yeah, agreed. And maybe an opportunity to kind of catch St. Edwards by surprise, but I think you still have to keep in mind, as much as the search was really clean from the Matadors, the hard point was just an absolute domination, kill after kill for St. Edwards, so there would still need to be a little bit of a proving point here for the Matadors. Trying to take top bar control early. That will not necessarily work out for the offense. They still have a member, though, on A for a small time. That allows St. Edwards to be kind of refocused on their next defensive approach. And Well, meanwhile, just a couple of opening trades back and forth, allowing Matadors to start working for some ground at A.
Trophy's going down, and yeah, first tick might actually be locked in. Starting to get a little pushback from Thresh up top, but huge win comes through for Rue. And now even Polo's kind of behind, scouting out, saying, listen, I have mid set up, and I will give you the callouts needed, and he's still putting together some kills. Will be able to play his life quite nicely as that second tick looks to be locked in.
Yep, absolutely the case. Looks like the third should be decent. One more chance for St. Edward. They do get on to contest. Up close and personal, it's Eons. Gets the first, turns for the second, but actually the kill that comes at a distance will allow the the control zone to stay neutral, while CSUN were actually focused on getting rotations to B. So Reality has a chance by himself to maybe contest the A zone again. With that kill, he can actually make depletion start to occur and hold on. The defense may use this as an opportunity to really catch the Matadors off guard.
We're going to push all the way through and try to come from behind and need to find the kills necessary. And they're starting to come on in. Eon's good for a double, and that will stop the second tick of progress here. So back to step one, still plenty of time. And I mean, you can pick between either zone. You got a tick on B, 2 ticks on A. It looks like they're maybe going to try to brute force back through B, but have to get through Reality, who's just lined up too.
Wow. It's all gone wrong right in a blink of an eye, hasn't it? I mean, the second tick of progress was quick to come through at A. The third was nearly there, but that long-range gunfight from the backside of Sauna in towards the zone kind of stops CSUN from getting the zone, and now you're down to just 25 seconds. Not a lot of room to work with. Good kills coming out, though. Leaves Vanity by himself, and he gets crossed up. Rue from the back staircase makes him safe. Second tick of progress in. 3-man stack should surely lead to the third, and that saves this first round for CSUN.
Oh, it's a good patient play. I mean, they don't get, too hung up on the time. They just make their play at the right moment, use the trades, and they were able to get themselves in for the extra minute. A now the target. Just one tick, as you mentioned. So just one good wipe in a stack will get you the offensive win. But a lot easier said than done. Players starting to tuck themselves away in corners, waiting for those touches to come through so that they can pop out and surprise them.
Yep. Polo. Oh, this should be great. Talk about surprise. Hello? Setting up for the evening? Maybe not. How about this? Dylan on the way in. That will get Matadors on the zone. Third tick looking likely. Eon's the only one that could really stop this. And as he takes down Polo, the position is known. Delays the gunfight a little while longer, but Dylan holds down the trigger, survives with 1 HP. The stack is, well, not in fully. Okay, hold on a second. And there it is. I was going to say, Reality and Vanity gave it a look, but ultimately the Matadors will get back on the zone and earn themselves their opening attack.
I like that. I think it's just good to see like a little bit of patience kind of come through for a team like this. We keep bringing up the fact that, they have a sub. You don't know how teams are going to be able to react. You don't know how that's going to change up their game plan, but it still feels like they're calming to slow down, wait for each other. Let's push in. Let's bait and switch this. Those kind of comms feel like they're coming out based off the gameplay that we saw there in those last couple of pushes to get to the zone. So a huge offensive win, able to take it away. Eons has a great opening round number 1 at 10 kills. We'll see if he can keep that going for an offensive win here for St. Edwards.
Right back up to the high ground we go. Battle for the opening bar as you'd expect. Prophecy, good trade. Rue also, by the way, on the bottom side of the map has taken off one of the offensive members from the zone already, so it's just Reality on for now. But as Rue drops and the trophy system gets placed, St. Edwards a chance to reinforce, although CSUN are finding kills around the back. Hold on a second. They're going to get here and overwhelm. Thresh gets a nice double, but it's still got Dylan on the backside of this play. Time continues to tick, and Thresh is kind of stuck. Everyone's looking for Dylan at the moment.
Yeah, they're all searching. It feels like there's still one more player behind us, and now Thresh going to start to open up a little bit more. Wide peaks for the ARs that are kind of looking through that right side. But Reality, watching that mid lane is good. Rue finally able to sneak through. Just can't put together more than one. And that should be the zone. Very early A zone. This is going to give them a lot of time to work with heading over to B.
And a quick transition to be at that. Nice kill from Vanity. Takes down Dylan on top of the couches. Now you've got 2 on, clearing out the backstage. Oh my goodness. Prophecy just cannot keep up with the quick transition from Vanity. 24 plays 17. First tick of progress going to get locked. Dylan's making a move around the back. He has to find a kill on zone. And, I mean, look at the positions for Eons and Vanity. They were just holding, hiding, staying away from Dylan as much as possible. Second tick in, third on the way. Nades are going to start to land and connect, though. So St. Edwards have to try to battle through what is a pretty heavy hit for the Matadors to get back on. Clear up that third tick of progress, but as Thresh pops through the door, that may turn the tides enough. Reality on the backside, actually caught by surprise by Prophecy, who nearly gets down both. And the defense is still holding for the time being.
They're still here, but it just doesn't feel like full security just yet. Polo, chance maybe to get in there for a double, but finally I think that should be it. Offensive zone likely to go over. Prophecy just trying to dive down, but can't get a touch. And yeah, that is a very, very scrappy hill where you can see both teams kind of still having numbers on either side, both fighting back and forth, but you never got a full clearance. And I think that's the problem, especially when you lose that first A zone. It's such an easy fast track, like right over to B to put the pressure on immediately. And if you're not set up and already in position and ready for it, I think you feel exactly what we just got, where you're constantly just trying to fight back and throw yourself into the point.
Well, the heavy offensively sided control map has been just that. Two very good offenses back to back. CSUN only a small hiccup in their first attempt here at the A zone, largely due to some unpredicted long-range kills from St. Edwards. Trying to clean things up just a touch, make life a bit easier on them, but St. Edwards' opening trades are decent, and Eons has snuck around the back.
See if he can make it work out here for some kills. Reality, long-range shots is good. Dylan, awkward engagement, the door just slammed open in front of him and just kind of works him off the angle he had locked down, but Prophecy is able to still respond, gets a trophy down, teammates find some good kills. That will open up enough space to at least secure the first segment.
Second ticket progress being worked on. St. Edwards going to be late to this rotation. Cal State Northridge concerned about the hit coming around the back. Set up pretty nicely for this as Prophecy continues to lock things down. Oh, double from Prophecy. Third ticket progress should be a guarantee. And with these kills, this could be another quick transition for the Matador straight over towards A. In fact, they're going to take a bit of a exaggerated route there as Polo's working through this backside shops area. And even though he gets stunned, he's going to shake it off pretty quickly, still win the gunfight. And eventually we get cut down as he heads over to the wine bar, while St. Edwards will ultimately still be bounced off this A zone. A chance for the Matadors with a 1-life lead to make their moves over towards A now.
Prophecy has to play his life. He's going to spot a Reality. Nice little crack right through there. So able to spot him before he actually wraps the corner. A nice little move. And a chance to still get something done because Polo threatening a lot right through the middle of the map right now. Just doesn't get a read on Vanity. So it'll slow it down just a bit, but Prophecy's done the hard part, excuse me. He's been able to get over to this right side and kind of watch long range. He just needs to get a read on Thresh down low.
Hard to predict it. Doesn't even see the top of his hat or hair. Oh gosh. Thresh has just gotten away with everything. Down to 60 seconds to play. CSUN a couple of kills allows them a chance to make their way through this spy area and get in. Oh, or can they? Thresh shuts down the player up top. Polo's weak, but Thresh very wisely holds his life. Tries to watch for spawners off new. Instead, trying to join his teammates. Good prediction on Dylan. He gets pushed off. Contest also in the mix. Roofer double. Shut down by Thresh on 7. Good for maybe number 8 around the corner. Has to get the reload off, but it's a nade that finishes Prophecy. And now St. Edwards have a huge defensive edge, depleting the second tick and still holding a life lead.
Oh, man, the fact that Thresh is still alive after all of that is just ridiculous to say out loud, and he's now putting them in the blender. It is still 8 up against 8, so lives are decently even, and a lot could happen here with 40 seconds. Thresh is still very much behind the play. Second segment looks to be locked on A, and it is, so have to try to find a retake now, and it looks like his teammates will do exactly that. All 4 players going to go down, only 3 lives remaining.
And Thresh just is unkillable. 21 and 10. Okay, Prophecy's drop shot will eventually keep him off of double-digit streaks, but like you mentioned, job done. St. Edwards will get a very coveted defense, and once more, thrust the conversation back to the Matadors. Can they respond? Do the exact same thing? As mentioned, full B zone and 2 ticks did get locked in at A, so that's something else to kind of consider, although I mean, what you kind of want them to get 2 ticks of progress because you want the round 5 offense? Like,
I guess, yeah.
Silly things.
Yeah, very, very true. But man, Thresh just plays his life for so long. I mean, he wins them that round, right? Like, Thresh stays alive through that whole right side. And if you don't get control of those steps on the attack, like, you're just constantly under threat of, will my reinforcements be spawn trapped? And the answer is yes. Thresh will constantly peek over and over and over again for this back heady. It can be very difficult to deal with, but we'll see what happens here in the round number 3. St. Edwards a chance to put it away, flying on out, and they're having some great success early. They'll find 2 kills, and they'll hop on both zones.
Yeah, both zones. That's the big problem point. Prophecy does well to kind of keep the A zone safe. Players off of spawn, though, are being a little bit caught by Thresh. So this will lead to some significant progress here at B. It is just still Vanity on, though. Eons is kind of on the off side of the zone, waiting for someone to challenge from the back. And you've got Reality that's close by to kind of contest from the front, but no one's watching him pop. And all of a sudden, Dylan's got a ton of damage. Gets to a point where he pushes him off the zone. I mean, he's gotten both players down to a single bullet, just can't quite finish it off, and that will lead to St. Edwards eventually securing the kill. But second tick of progress, not yet confirmed, finally secured, as Rue can only do so much from this top position.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give it up, but also needs to kind of wait for somebody to get there to pinch it up, and that's just not happening. So he understands, I got to play my life and play for the next zone. Simply try to find some exits if I'm able to. The setup right now is looking decent, but you have to be worried about some of the lingering players from that B zone getting behind enemy lines here and potentially flanking and pinching up this A point.
Gotta get kills here for the Matadors. And oh, Polo's caught. Vanity, whoa, what a turn. Rue is in trouble for a moment, but both members outside by the sauna for the side of Cal State will hold onto this A zone for now. Reality, Eon's getting to work doing some clearing. Thresh is on the back, also finds another pick. The only player left alive here for the defense is Polo, playing just inside the topside restaurant. Holding, looking for kills, but it's going to need some help. He's going to need it quickly. Ruben off the spawn. Good for a kill on the Thresh, and a chance now for Cal State to make their play forward. Nice shots from Polo as he bounces out and avoids the trade as well.
Oh, it's some clean movement. Jump challenging beside the wall so that nobody can actually get a trade after he finds the kill. Just runs away, resets, repositions. Minute 22 now down. We'll see what happens through the back as Rue's going to set up a bit of a spawn trap, get some good tags. The nade, I don't think we'll finish off Vanity, but the support is there. Polo through the wall, puts together a second, and so far the defense is holding and holding strong.
Okay, this is how it could happen. Still plenty of time on the clock, but St. Edwards are under threat of being put into a spawn trap. So, pow, Polo almost gets kill number 5. Whoa, okay, then pre-fire shots through, nearly also connected to the second, but the problem is St. Edwards still come away with the kills. 3 for 1, the trades. Onto the zone they go. Reality, Vanity, both double stacking, but Prophecy takes care of Thresh at range. Can they get in to contest, though? Trophy system not in place here for St. Edwards as the second tick is locked in. CSUN, though, have to go. Still 2 members on. Last player to challenge is Rue, and he's just not moving fast enough. Flat out, he's going to get taken down, and St. Edwards will complete the offense and win the map 3-1.
3-1 victory, man. It's looking so good. I'm praising the defense. Polo's finding double kills. They got AR control in the back, but it's not enough, man. One good push. Eons just breaks it open right through mid. Even the streak coming down just to secure it. Man, what crazy changes from what we saw yesterday from St. Edwards, where it really looked like they didn't always know what they wanted to do and maybe weren't always on the same page, but I really feel like you could see everyone understand, what the objective was in every single moment there. They took their time when they needed to. Thresh played his life like an absolute beast, controlled that left lane what felt like the entire map, and they could never really kind of punch through that AR line to get their subs always in the right position outside of what we saw from Polo kind of in those last 2 rounds.
Yeah, agreed. And I mean, we're going to see the scoreboard at the end of these highlights again. I think that will also tell us a pretty clear-cut picture of why the things happened. I mean, flat out, it's just, again, St. Edwards just more dominant in the kill feed. A lot of individual 1v1s that were super important, like this play from Eons, for instance. Again, just gets the defense into a more secured position. Reality pushing through the map. I just felt like St. Edwards were so quick to take over the map, where, to be fair, like, Cal State Northbridge did a nice job of attempting to do the same thing. It's just when the gunfights mattered to cut people off of spawn or keep reinforcements, more restrained, it just was not quite as convincing as what St. Edwards had on the other side, and that's what you need if you're going to be able to win a defensive round, in my mind, and we definitely got it in that one defense that you're about to see here for St. Edwards.
Certainly the case. A lot of key moments, but yeah, Thresh living here for as long as he did. going on what was, I think, like an 8 or 9 spree at one point in time. Like, just locks the whole round down there with a couple of snappers, and then he puts 2 more away, I think, to end the spree before going into the next one. But crazy stuff, man. And I mean, that is really the big factor, right? On an open map, I mean, we've had a lot of open maps, period, I feel like, in this series layout. But, on a map like Expo, like, it really is driven by, what your ARs are doing at long range. And if they're just always in the right spot, which Thresh is almost always in, it's really difficult to, again, just punch through that setup, right, and actually get to the point.
Absolutely, and you kind of saw it there from one of the highlights. Like, Thresh, deep by that bus position and the offensive spawn, continued to go on a spree. Like, he got there with like 7 kills, ended up with like 11 or something like that. Whereas Rue on the other side got to that position, but only found a single kill, and then was eventually traded. So those are important. And yeah, Reality doesn't get 15 out of 21 non-traded. Most of those other ones, I believe, are probably broken scoreboards. So take from that what you will. But I mean, nearly double positive for Thresh, over 25 kills for Eons as well. I mean, it's just flat out, CSUN just got outslayed there in those last 2 rounds.
Exactly the case, man. And I mean, this is now, 2 respawns where Thresh has been just about double positive, I feel like. So, like, his influence on the map, as we were praising, looking over the roster coming into this matchup, it's just absolutely there. It's existing on the map tenfold at the moment, just with his presence. And it is a problem that has not been solved and has to be if we're going to see another search and destroy. Now, in the first search and destroy, I mean, incredible based off of what we've seen. But the respawns, that has been the problem that we have not really seen a solve for. And we're heading over to a hotel hardpoint where Edwards might be able to put it away.
Yeah, and I think if that, again, we talked about how there could be a difference maker in a question mark control, the ability to slay. That was where you look to St. Edwards and say, we know what to expect. And yeah, they provided that in the Expo. So that's another condition that will likely be kind of, again, favoring CSUN as we look into the hotel hardpoint. And flat out, I think CSUN had some decent looks on the embassy hardpoint in terms of putting together breaks, putting together holds, but you have to be able to do more than just that every now and again. You need to be able to string together a 45 plus into another 30. Like, that's where St. Edwards will take control of the game. Is they'll go back and forth with you for a while until one good kill feed allows them a chance to go string together, the better part of 90 seconds.
Yep. Have to find a way to shut it down. And I mean, again, it's another ask to make sure that all 4 players are kind of coming alive here. We've seen great moments out of like the subs in the last map. Polo was putting together some pretty crazy moments, but Dylan has been struggling, I feel like, a little bit in the respawns, and that sub pressure lacking has hurt them around the objective, which isn't fully his fault. These are big maps, so I mean, you are getting cut down with a lot of these crosses and these setups from the arrows to the opposite end, but you have to find some kind of a solution coming into it. It's just been the biggest problem, the slaying and just being out-rotated and not always being able to capitalize fully on the positions that they're in.
Yeah, absolutely the case. Couldn't have put it better myself. So those are the things to keep an eye out for, both individually and on the macro team-based level for especially CSUN. The narrative follows with them in this underdog story, especially them being down to 1.
Yep.
And if they could find a way to get to a map 5, I think the conversation for the first time would shift to the other direction where, hey, we've seen St. Edwards blow away map 5s in the past, both last year and a couple of times this year. Whereas for CSUN, you've already convinced us of what you do on the search and destroy on large or open maps. So I think that's kind of, where all of a sudden, if we can get to 5, maybe all of a sudden CSUN become the favorite to possibly win the series. That would be surprising considering, again, the history that St. Edwards team has.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely have high hopes for them if they could make it to a map number 5 based off of what we were seeing. Like, you can't praise them enough. Like, it was almost a flat out 6-0 with a lot of clutch plays coming on through, but also a lot of convincing rounds that were going their way. So that's what you have to tell yourself, right, guys? If we can win this hard point, we're winning the series, we're going to LAN. Like, that's what you have to, that's the only thing you can hold on to at this moment in time. You got, taken out in the last couple respawns, but you just have to kind of, believe that, fully and confidently. Come into this one and just don't let them body you early. I think that's something that St. Edwards has been really good at in these opening rounds, like the first hard point, like we saw it, like 45 seconds off of P1 on Embassy, right? Like, let's just have somewhat of an even state through the first couple of hills and don't allow them to start that snowball, or don't allow Eons, to start off like 11-2 going into like hill 3.
Indeed the case. Waiting in the lobby to start up. Not sure what the hang up is. Just waiting for these players to get the go-ahead call for map number 4. Have to have it here for CSUN. As we've already said 15 different ways so far. But here we go. Jumping on into it. Do or die time again. Winner qualifies for LAN. as our 7th team to make it to Columbus. Loser will be done for the season in top 12 form. Still would be very impressive. But of course, the main prize still awaits one of our final 8 teams. Here we go.
I'm ready, Alan. I'm ready for CSUN to come out here with a bit of fire, man. We've seen a lot of great moments individually. It's been, bits and pieces throughout this series, but it hasn't always been all together. Will we get that here now? You need it more than ever if we're going to see a map number 5. Let's get into it.
St. Edward's quickly onto the hard point, as they often are in these opening 50-50 battles. CSUN trying to feel out the map a little bit. Polo with a route up top towards Catwalk. That will make some heads turn for a moment. Over the top, well found for Polo. Gets out of there for a moment. Dylan follows the double of his own, and that'll be enough for CSUN to get into the hill for some time early.
Yeah, get a break very early on and maybe just try to find some more kills just to delay the rotation over to P2. Prophecy, you're going to get a read on it. Nice little chal around the corner. Catches Reality off guard. And, well, Dylan's still doing a good job playing his life. Nice little early 3-spree for him as they'll grab a lot of this remaining scrap time and allow the setup to come through for New.
And they put together an opening hold. Take an edge early in this map. Dylan spawn over towards bedroom. He can actually kind of work around the back and foil this rotation. Yeah, well done by Dylan. Gets 2 across the middle. Leaves Rue by himself, but with help now through front desk. 1 more to grab. It's Eons, and that is a miraculous split spawn situation with the first hardpoint still being active. Dylan comes away with 4, and now Prophecy shredding them through Chandelier. How about this?
Oh, man, this is what we wanted to see. CSUN, finding the slays. That's been what's lacking throughout a lot of the respawns. We talked about it, and now we're finally getting it. We're seeing it live in action as a couple sprees come through. Dylan and Prophecy both one off of earning that cruise missile to set themselves up with some early streaks for some late game insurance. You'd love to have it early, but have to now slowly approach this next hill. The kitchen setup is here, and Prophecy just snaps on Reality and earns the streak.
That was an ugly one. Are you kidding? I mean, he's looking the wrong direction. First 2 shots sent his way, and Prophecy snaps, doesn't miss a single shot. Dylan looking for some spam around the back. Trying to earn this second cruise missile. Bursts right on in. Shots good, though, for SCU. They get the first 3, and they do it cleanly and swiftly. Polo has been read right there by Reality, who could actually just get around the back of this next hit if he wants to. Here it comes on the way, and oh my, St. Edwards, do they ever hold strong? Another 3 kills swiftly come through. Rue, the last one left. And ultimately, St. Edwards are looking good for maybe a full 60 here if they can just clean up these last couple of players.
Oh, Polo gives it a good look, and maybe Prophecy actually gets in there for the trade, so what was looking like almost a full hold there for St. Edwards. Broken open for Polo. Dolphin dives in, buys a bit of time, but now are already threatened here to the next hill on P4. Dylan with some clean shots, and this is a much better performance from what we saw in the Embassy. 10 and 5, looking for kill number 11 as he flies forward and soars for another.
Oh yeah, dude, Dylan's snappy right now, I'll tell you that much. It's all over the map, but Reality clawing his way back into this map. Not a great start for him or Eons. Trying to work back into contention as we open up the bar. Just under a 30-point game. Dylan nearby in the back. Prophecy spawns with him. Free fire on the corner. Vanity holding down the trigger. Damage, but no kills. The rest of the help from CSUN, though, over the middle of the map is successful for at least an even trade. Rue, denied from the backside. Good shots from Thresh. And as Prophecy is the last one standing, he will wisely wait for a little bit of help, trying to cut these players in the railing, but doesn't get the angle he wanted. And that may lead to an opportunity for St. Edwards to do anything, but no, Rue gets 3. All of them lined up as he kind of spawned out, and now with 20 seconds to fight for, CSUN are looking good for the scrap.
Oh, and Dylan's not going to let them have any of it right now. He's just picking them apart. Left to right, back to left, takes out 3. That is a huge moment to delay what was maybe looking like an early setup for St. Edwards in and around Restaurant. They are still here, and they do still find Rue. So a chance to still lock in some time, but the patience from Prophecy's good, and he's going to reign in the streak.
Oh, yeah, here we go. CSUN see some daylight, thinking there may be a chance to string together some good time here between the old and the new hard point. Streak doesn't necessarily get the kills, but it does create an opportunity for CSUN to still collect eliminations around the hill. Rue really starting to pop up with Dylan in this one. As Dylan's on 5 in a row, 17 and 7. Polo from inside rugs is also good for more. And St. Edwards, you can kind of feel the scramble right now. They're not thinking that they're going to be down this bad this early in this hard point.
I don't know what happened to Dylan, but he has just turned into a different man right now. He had 3 kills through the first set on the first map. He is now almost at 20, and we still got one more hill left in the rotation. This is insane from him. CSUN, I mean, this is just a level that we have not seen for them the entire series.
No.
But they have to keep it going. That's the big factor. Can't afford to let up and allow St. Edwards to work back into it. And well, this is a good moment for them. Vanity and Thresh, they're going to stop that push through the restaurant. They're going to force the spawns out front, and they'll be able to at least get these first 10 seconds uncontested.
Full lock in the back, so you know exactly where this next hit should be coming from CSUN. Vanity avoids the pre-fire. Nades are all out. Trophy system reinforced. Vanity holds off on the trigger for now. Polo offers himself up. First 2 kills good. Pops up. Not going to get the third. The clearance from Prophecy is actually pretty good. Eon stuck on the corner, but working with reality. A key gunfight comes through, and St. Edwards worked their way in, still fighting for the back 30.
Just when you think you got them right, St. Edwards answer back. Find a good moment to keep themselves in this hard point. That break comes through. CSUN, they maybe have 30-40 point advantage going into the next hill, but all of that just about completely nullified as the scrap time is secured. No one's going to give it a hit. Everyone going to simply move to new as we got ourselves a hard point, that's for sure.
I'll say. Going to be just about a tie game, though, with that near full 60 for St. Edwards. CSUN in lobby for now. Eon's coming across, cut down by Dylan. Still double positive at 20 and 10. No one else in the lobby is even close to keeping up with him outside of his teammate Prophecy. And this time is good time if CSUN can hold onto the hard point. But the problem is Rue's kind of playing for rotation away from the play. So it's going to have to be some sort of convincing set of kills here for CSUN to earn the vacancy to get onto hard point. And that one from Prophecy may do it. Nice read, nice snap. One more in the corner. No, it's Eon's to deny, and the hard point stays neutral.
Gets him to 13 HP, though, with the tack in hand. Not an easy gunfight, but almost makes it look easy. 20 seconds to fight for. St. Edwards would love to get it, but Dylan still looking to try to make something happen alongside Polo. They know one more member is kind of lingering around here, and Polo pops up and just obliterates Eons there in the 1 versus 1. Scrap is secured, but set up for new here for CSUN.
Rue on 4, turned away from getting anything further. Dylan mid-map, delaying, trying to see if he can cut somebody down on this rotation, but it's Prophecy from the back heading of the stairs, who's done well. And that will clean up this first hit from St. Edwards. Lead starts to grow again. Dylan tested over towards the backside of bar. Nice shot. Oh my goodness, this guy is snapping. Where was this Dylan in the first couple of maps? I don't know, but I don't care. He's absolutely shredding this St. Edwards team right now.
Oh, is he ever? 24 kills, minute in the hill. Here he is again. Dylan ready to pounce from behind. Look at a snap on the Thresh, who just happens to get one. But, I mean, these are full wipes coming through one after another right now for CSUN. St. Edwards are not finding the trades like they once were. And they're now forced to run right over to new.
Yep.
Fortunately for them, reality does find Polo, or else that could have gone really bad.
This is just punishing scrap time to concede. And CSUN are very aware of what this scrap time means. Over 200 points. The lead, right about 50. St. Edwards not in a position to contest anything through the actual restaurant itself. They're more focused on denying pinch plays. Polo shut down. The rest hit from the front. Being checked by reality. Trophy system keeping him safe. No pinch, at least at the moment, from either side, but it's being threatened. At least from St. Edwards. Over the top, Dylan, Rue, clean things up. They get the clean wipe, and even though they will not fully likely be able to win here, they will be real darn close, especially if they find a way to hold this.
Might be able to as well. 30 seconds left. CSUN want to be able to put it away, and they're very close to doing it, but the break might just be here for St. Edwards. It is a necessary break at that. Have to get through Rue, and Rue will finally drop down. 15 seconds. St. Edwards will be able to get it. They're not done just yet, but the transition looking clean so far for CSUN.
Eon's has to be wondering, how the heck did I not get that kill? He put a lot of shots of the Vaznev into a couple different members of CSUN. Just didn't quite work out. So over towards bar, 230 to 202. St. Edwards, though, is a mile away. And Dylan is up top, clearing some members out. Prophecy down low, the second line of scrimmage if needed. And the reads from Dylan, are you kidding me? I mean, he is flying and absolutely frying. 31 and 15, CSUN have to just kill off these last contestants through mid. The challenge is in for only a small time. It's just reality you have to clean up. And map 5, here we come, the Matadors. find a way to get a grip on the hotel, and they never let it go.
What a respawn, man. What a respawn. Like, based off of what we've seen in the map 1 and the expo, you're thinking that the slaying might not be there. It just might not be enough. The sub pressure hasn't always been online at the same time in the same map. But Dylan, my goodness, dude, this guy just completely takes over 32 and 15. Again, I want to bring it up. In the first map, through the first set going into P5, he had 3 kills.
Yep.
I don't know what just happened. I don't know if he had to get the jitters out or whatever, but he's here to play, Alan. He's here to play.
Yeah, looking real solid. Unreal, man. And it all starts, not right off the rip here, but it's off of this second play, going to P2, where Dylan just kind of gets behind off of a spawn and then turns it into a huge spree, funnels everyone to Prophecy's direction, and like that is the catalyst to what CSUN needed. Like, all right, like we're making plays here, and even though St. Edward starts to bring it back, it never felt like there was a moment of doubt for Cal State Northridge because of how that opening set the tone for this entire map.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. One of the first times we've seen a good start and then able to hold on to it too. You got to remember St. Edwards, I mean, they brought it back on that P6 hill there in just about a 10 to 20 point game, but never letting up, always maintaining control, just again being that step ahead. That's what I said coming in, right? Like trying to get a step ahead of St. Edwards. Not an easy thing to do with their slaying, but this was exactly what happened this map, and that was the differential. My goodness, dude, what a banger.
Wow, great stuff from CSUN. And man, now all of a sudden, like we talked about, how about the fact that we're going to a search and destroy where CSUN just absolutely dominated the map too? So do they become the favorite now, considering map number 5? I hesitate to say that, and I keep the question mark in play because you got to remember what happened to the map 5 yesterday with St. Clair.
Right.
Was not close. You know, I think it was a 6-1 was the tally, but they were down like 5-0 real fast. So hopefully, if you're CSUN, you don't let that stick in your mind. You can just say, forget about it. Not worried about it. It happened. It's not a big deal. We'll be all right. Let's just lock things up and play the same way we did in map number 2, because if Dylan's playing like that and Prophecy continues to play like that, I think we're in for possibly an upset here.
It's looking like it right now. 27 of those 32, man. Non-traded kills, just going rogue, and it really did feel like every life that we saw Dylan, like it was just a multi-kill after multi-kill. I mean, the guy ends double positive, over double positive.
Yeah,
just crazy stuff from him. And yeah, can you keep that performance going? And I really did like a lot of the things that we were seeing on the LSU Search and Destroy, with the way that they were kind of using the outskirts of the map. Really kind of kept St. Edwards guessing on how do we set up defensively and stop a lot of their attacks, because that was the biggest problem. Even when they were getting maybe a pick or two here, it never really was, a full-on capitalization into the round. That was the big problem over and over again.
Okay, well, we will send these off to just a brief break. When we come back, it's map number 5. St. Edwards trying to get there for a second time to the playoff land. Otherwise, for CSUN, it'll be a first-time clinch to land. We'll see how it all unfolds when we come back after this. Welcome back. We jump into map number 5. Cal State Northridge, St. Edwards, and a hotel hardpoint that had us all absolutely freaking out because the Matadors were looking dominant. Dylan sniping a pixel right off this first round, looking over towards the A target. But the thing about this is, on the opposite side, you've got Eons already kind of up towards the front side of admin windows. There's the shot. Wow, okay, that must have been a snipe on the other side from Vanity, you'd think, right? I mean,
I don't know. It sounded like attack, but not
one
too
shot?
sure. Like 2 shots. It sounded like he got a couple off, but we'll see. Maybe he does. We got an unlucky hit marker to kick off this round. Either way, it's not a good position to be in here for CSUN. Still trapped on their side of the map, and you got Eons who's watching this entire push through, and he's hearing some glass break. He knows what's up. It's definitely a B play, and he could stop it all.
He sure could. Dylan is right above him. Still gets the first kill, steps away from any possible trade, and yep, that was a sniper rifle on the other side. Saw it in the kill feed there for a moment, so I think that may have been a hit marker to the door initially. But ultimately, I've said this since like week 1 of this game when we've watched Embassy Surge. The moment you let a defender get up front to those windows, like and you don't show me any nades to try to at least get a read on somebody up there, it's, I mean, come on. That just feels like oversight overall.
Yeah. Great first opening round. We didn't mention it, but St. Edwards did play this map yesterday to close out their series there versus Rutgers Esports. So have had success on it in this exact moment in a map 5 scenario where everything is on the line, though. Maybe a little bit of a different beast. Either way, Eon's nades come out. That's going to stop Dylan from getting any kind of an angle here with that scope.
Oh.
Might also result in what you thought would maybe be a fast play, but Polo is moving, gets the stun, and manages to escape with his life. 9 HP to his name.
That is Houdini-esque from Polo. He's there, then he's not. He gets a pick, then he's out. Unbelievable. And Vanity puts down the scope just when he may have had a shot at Rue. Regardless, though, bomb does get planted. Eon's going to play forward, trusting that his sniper rifle of Vanity can be the clutch-up position they need. Also, a long route from Reality through the middle of the map. He doesn't quite see Prophecy, though. So it gets to a 4v2. Excuse me?
What the?
What was Dylan shooting at? No way.
I don't know, but it could cost them. I mean, there's not a lot of time to work with, but there's a read from Reality. He's just not ready with the pre-aim. So it should be the round here, potentially, unless Vanity can clutch this up. Snipes over the top. Needs to find it. He finds the collateral. What a round and what a play. Vanity finds 2.
Unreal. Wow. Brother. You could body block all you want, Vanity says. I've got the round in my grips with this one shot. Unbelievable. And I still have no idea what Dylan was shooting at. I mean, there is no one on the line that Prophecy was on for that team kill to come through. And how different the round may be if there's 3 members up instead of just the 2.
Yeah, I mean, that was what? That was a 2v4, I think, when he took it out, too. So, I hate to see that. Hate to see that. Not a good start for CSUN. Down 0-2. Really need to find some favor on the attack, and it's not a good start. They're going to lose 1. They're going to lose 2. They're pinned to the back. Dylan will do a good job of working the angle. Does retrieve the bomb, but you need more picks out of Dylan to open up this map.
Yeah, that's problematic, to be sure. Vanity is just going to be trusted to lock down everything over at A. Not a lot of information here for St. Edwards, or pretty for CSUN to even work with, even if they wanted to go A. Prophecy's going to maybe just give it one shoulder just to see if he sees anything. And, okay, that's all the information he needs. Not an option to go over towards A. Meanwhile, down low, Dylan with a quick scope from the gods. Oh, my. Now we've got a 2v2, and look at the prediction from CSUN. They're going to try to isolate the sniper at A and see if they can overwhelm, knowing the defense has to split.
All Vanity knows, though, he does get a read on it. He's going to reposition and back up. Has to try to dodge the nades and the stuns. The nades actually going to tag him, so Reality needs to now make his way over, try to add in the support. That bomb's going to go down. It's going to get planted here. Reality's in a good position to try to find kills. Nice play up top. Finds the first. Dylan does his legs show down low. They know where he is, and, well, he's caught in between a rock and a hard place. Nowhere to go. They find him, and extra shots come through.
What is Prophecy doing out in the middle of no man's land?
Yeah.
I don't know. Get behind a truck, get behind a van. He's out in the middle of the parking lot. Ooh. Maybe a small miss.
Try to back up?
He wasn't the one who planted. It was Dylan who planted.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a misstep there, as CSUN, I thought, made a really solid read. Get the information on what's at A. Pull everyone back with the quick scope that you land over through sign at B, but Prophecy gets caught cherry picking in mid. And now St. Edwards find themselves up 3-0, and CSUN need a round quick.
Oh, I mean, it's this round they need. No questions about it. St. Edwards are just a little bit too comfortable. Dylan does work the same angle. This time, no nades and stuns come through. Polo looked like he might have had 2 lined up through the back. It's good information, though. And Rue is able to at least grab a trade. 3 versus 2 in favor of CSUN. This is their round.
Yep. Just don't get caught. That's the biggest thing here. Do not get caught in the middle of the map. Thresh with a Vaznev is waiting to see if anyone will cross through bridge. But Reality has to be the one to kind of spark the movement, and just when Thresh was starting to fish something out, the play was right in front of him. So now you've got an opportunity if you're CSUN, to feel pretty confident in your setup. And for St. Edwards, they're not even making an effort to go get the bomb. They're trying to play this with like a TDM.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have the time to go back now, so have to push through. Very weird way to play it, but you have to. Just going to have to start flying at them over to A. And based off the setup, I mean, you're giving them the B plant.
Yeah.
As if they were in position to get it, and no one's even budging. They're going to go back for the bomb now,
Dude,
but there's
what?
no way that you get back to B.
No, this round's over.
What just happened?
I don't know. Maybe they thought they had somebody isolated near the backside of B. They could play for the kill, but, I mean, that was not correct. So, small miscue from CSUN, followed up by a immediate round where St. Edwards kind of has us scratching our heads. And the round they needed is the one that comes in. So, for CSUN, can you string them together here after a near miss on your last offense? Be curious to see what they try to go for with an off-the-rip setup. And we have not seen Dylan try to snipe through mid lane at all yet. It's a lot of been like close quarters, little peeks and pokes, and that would be the case again. He did the same thing in round one.
Got to recover and make sure that round just doesn't check you out here if you're St. Edwards still in control. But letting off the gas just a tad bit. Could be that window that CSUN have been looking for. Dylan waiting patiently, but whizzes by his left ear. Must have nicked it off there. Doesn't complete the elimination. We'll get a second opportunity, though, when Dylan is snapping. He'll find Thresh through mid.
Yeah, I'm not really sure on the play there from Thresh either, to be fair. I mean, you get information that the sniper's outside by P2. Either get up to the doors or get back into safety. Trust that Vanity can continue to play a 1v1 with the scopes, but 40 seconds to play. CSUN starting to look for maybe an opportunity to make their way over towards A. Thinking about it with the bomb in this position, but they were kind of missing information through mid-map still. And CSUN this is taking too long.
Yeah,
this is going to give St. Edwards a chance to get a read and adjust. I mean, Reality's already making his way back over towards A.
I mean, guys, we gotta make a play. And A's gonna be it, but Vanity could stop it. But trades do come out. 3 versus 2. Gonna have to try to force this bomb plant, and luckily nobody else is here from St. Edwards to stop it.
Yeah.
Takes a while. Reality should drop it. He will. They do get there, but they use every single second to do it.
Yeah, lots of confusion on both sides. I thought of Reality initially when he crossed by bridge, he had gotten a read saying, all right, well, if they haven't thrown anything in a minute over towards B, this has to be coming towards A. You saw him get the instant trade into Dylan, nearly saved a teammate's life, but after that kill came out, there was still a question mark of if the hit was actually going towards A all along. So there's a little bit of tug of war back and forth trying to decide which bomb site to defend there for St. Edwards. Leads to CSUN getting a plan, and finding the kills they need to get back to within one. Again, qualifier match. You win and you're in. You're out, you finish top 12. And for the first time, St. Edwards are going to try to bolt their way on towards B. Rue has some help here, though. Polo and Rue back through mid-map are watching both windows. And as the first blood is tallied, you thought for a moment that was going to be enough for CSUN to continue to push forward, but instead they let St. Edwards get the bomb off and we go to a 3v4 post plant.
We'll see how much time they take on this retake. They really like to work the angles, show a lot of patience, but they should be able to work Eons out of this position down low. However, will they expect Thresh to come up the ladder? This position, if he gets control of it, you feel like it's probably in favor of St. Edwards. Thresh gonna slowly creep up, finds the first, finds the second. But it finally drops, and now Vanity, another 1 versus 2. Does he do it again? No! Prophecy's there! And CSUN find 3 straight rounds in a row to tie it up.
Dude, Thresh climbing up that ladder reminded me of the sloth from, what was that movie?
Ice Age?
No, not Ice Age. It's the one where the bunny rabbit is the police officer. Zootopia. Thank you, Sport. Appreciate that. It's a good one, Austin. Take the time, watch it.
I'm glad you knew. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I can instantly tell by your reaction if you've seen the movie or not.
Yeah, you're right. I get really excited when I do.
Or there's just deadpan silence. There's no in between.
Yeah, true.
CSUN now 3 rounds in a row. And a 4-killing spree for Rue after being an 0-3 start.
Yeah. Rue stepped up quite a bit, Dylan, though, with the scope. I mean, how do you not talk about him? He's created so many angles, and oh, that misses. It's a little bit wide, I guess.
Yeah.
Dylan won't get a second attempt at that shot, so will be forced to back up. And now you don't really know if You can start to make moves inside of admin, and that's going to hurt. You lost Prophecy, starting to lose numbers here, but still got a minute on the clock.
Yeah, lots of utility from both sides was being tossed to the outside of this A site, but one stray Semtex is placed right onto Prophecy. Eon's still holding close. Rue thinking about it. Maybe just to watch the flank here, not having numbers. Dylan. Oh, gosh. He's got a doorway right here. Nothing through mid-map. Decent clear. But what do you do with that information? This would be a really well-placed Semtex if you can land that. Does get a tag. That should be enough, you would think, for Polo to make the cross, but no, they're still looking for picks, and now you kind of missed your window to get across.
Yeah, like, Rue will be able to work through an angle. Again, CSUN using every second of the clock here. But you're going to have to fly forward. You got to get this bomb down. And now you've... Yeah, that's it. Polo's got nowhere to go.
Man, that was just mistimed, I think, from CSUN. As soon as that Semtex pushes him off, you should peek bathroom and get across. You just have to. There's only two places that can stop you from getting that bomb plant. One is in orange, and the other is right against your windows. Semtex connects, the kill comes out, and Polo's still kind of sitting there waiting for, you know, again, the golden ticket to show up at his doorstep, say, hey, you've got a free plant in front of you. So, a bit nervy there for CSUN, and St. Edwards use it as a chance to get back up by 1.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a lot of it. A lot of nerves coming into play for this map 5. Why wouldn't there be a lot of nerves? Decider for who ends up getting to land. But mistakes starting to build up more on one side than the other. Need to see something convincing. Dylan doesn't get the shot, but lands the nade. Won't get a second attempt again at Reality. Just going to go prone, maybe wait for some support. Vanity's also watching from afar. That's good information from Dylan, but needs to keep his life, and he will.
Yeah, that's fine. Just going into a 4v2 here, you feel really good about your chances of getting the stack to a 4-4 count. Space, though, for Reality to collect the bomb. Polo's up top inside of the staircase. And if Reality can plant, Vanity's still on the backside, untested, over the windows. Reality challenge. Oh, what a win that is onto Polo. So now the post plant becomes multifaceted. You don't have to peek if you're Vanity until Reality drops. How long can Reality finesse inside of orange? And CSUN, this is taking time again. You have to clear out this position inside of orange. Shots are out. Reality turns. Eventually dealt with. 20 seconds on the clock. Vanity with an AR out. Has to check at some point. Still has both of his nades. Semtex comes through first. Both land. Shots are missed, though. Dylan never got to the actual defuse. So Vanity's prediction is incorrect, and CSUN secure the defuse to get us to 4-4.
Dude, CSUN make me so nervous with the amount of time they use. Like, I love the patient plays. I love utilizing as much as the clock and not rushing the play, but point in times where you feel like you gotta rush maybe just a tad bit, but they just stay cool, calm, and collected, I guess. Rue up top, just ready, waiting for that challenge, and I think the Semtex, you know, really does throw Vanity off there in that 1v3. He's thinking somebody's already on the bomb. I have to pre-fire it. Have to get him off of it, but they just barely get there at the 9-second mark to tie us up at 4.
Wow. What a weird search and destroy. CSUN looking for some quick tempo to B. Surely some of this has been seen. You've got Vanity on the cross through mid untested. Eon's following up. It only gets 1. That's fine if you're CSUN. You still have players watching over the top. Polo gets a free one onto Thresh. That should lead to a plant. Oh, but hold on. Reality on one side. Vanity's getting aggressive around the back, and all of a sudden it's just down to Polo. Dead silence already in, and he needs to make a decision quickly of how he wants to try to finesse this situation. He sees Reality at range, and that may be enough for him to make the quick transition over to A.
Yeah, I like this. He has the bomb, and, well, he's maybe going to backtrack for Reality. He's going to throw Semtex, but Semtex not going to land. And now, if he can just plant this safely, get this down, he could really work this angle with a sub, but he doesn't want to commit to it. Has a feeling they're rotating into him, but not going to get the right read here, down to about 30 seconds.
Still plenty of time to work with. I like the idea. Wait a little while longer, see if you can catch another one on rotation, but oh, he's predicted this completely wrong. St. Edwards has not moved at all. Polo feeling better about trying to plant at B. Wait, Vanity didn't see him. Maybe they did. Now, yeah, Reality gets the idea. There's the shots. That will tag Polo. Will not be able to exit off of the plant. And St. Edwards will get to series point.
Oh, man. You could see where his headspace was at. He was hoping he could catch someone on transition, kind of running up top. But, not hearing any sound cues, a little bit risky, running all the way over to the other site. Tries to play the 50-50. Guesses incorrectly. And St. Edwards, you said it, Alan. They are now on series point, 1 round away from advancing to the CCL LAN. Have a chance to get it done here on the attack.
Oh, boy. You have to know the heart rates are up right now on both sides. Are you kidding? St. Edwards on the offense. Vanity up top. Nades early from St. Edwards, but they're not committing to getting in towards B. They're going to try to bait this out. See if they can maybe pull the defense over, and they catch Rue for first blood in mid-map, trying to back away from that opening cross angle at mid lane. But still, that all said, CSUN are still in a pretty solid spot to still pick up a kill and still defend this B site. This isn't terrible for 3v4 setup-wise.
Oh, Dylan, he's been so hot with that scope, and you'd love to see him get hot here in the round 10, but the nade lands right on his feet. Gonna have to back away. Prophecy good for 1. Just watching over this B side, and Dylan has now just sniped a second. Look at this play up mid. Elon's is going to send it. Going to try to come around the back here, but dead silence, but he shoots. Dylan's going to challenge, but he will find the kill. 2v2 we go.
But Prophecy isn't in a spot to actually track down the angle. Bomb being planted. Polo has been unchecked. Although there is an idea from Thresh that someone's in the vicinity, and he gets the kill down to 1. Prophecy for a 1v2. A chance to get to round 11. Semtex out. It lands. Nade damage is good. Shots are in for the 1v1. Thresh over the top of the truck. Shot's not going to quite land. Prophecy taking away the angle. Stun comes through, but no. Cannot get the gun up to take the gunfight, and St. Edwards will win round 10. 6 for the map, and second straight year we'll see the Hilltoppers on LAN.
They get it done. Incredible series here from these two, man. Going just about the absolute distance to around 11. A 1v1 here for the substitute player to try to get them to that final round. But the stun just bangs off the side of that van. If it lands down low and banks and he lands it, maybe it's a different gunfight. Maybe he takes out Thresh, but doesn't happen. Crazy sequence. And St. Edwards, once again, good in that map, number 5, to get him over the finish line.
I will say, though, man, that CSUN team, it's going to feel real bad to not see these guys represented at LAN. But, boy, what a battle this was throughout the entirety of it. I mean, we saw some convincing moments on both sides. Very appropriate that we have a back-and-forth, very tight affair here on map number 5. Oh, goodness. Just so many small moments here or there that, okay, so that was I guess, Prophecy, his name tag didn't show up initially, and that's just a gut check call from Dylan saying, I see someone I'm going to shoot. And that was a key round. I mean, that's the difference between round 10 and a win and round 11 and a chance to still fight for playoffs, right? I mean, that's one of many, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to point at that one in particular, but that's one of those that's going to really hurt to see back.
Wow, man. Just the sniper play. I'm also so happy that just about both players kept the snipers out the entire time. I know Vanity put it away here and there, but Dylan, I think every single round, scope in hand, found a lot of huge moments. Has a great comeback after really struggling throughout those maybe first couple maps. Really starts to find his footing in the search and destroys. Just not enough to get them there, man. Like you said, just gonna be a world of hurt. I mean, you got this far with one of your substitutes, not even your main fourth, so have to think about the what ifs. Either way, certainly a good fight. Excited to see what this squad will look like next year.
Yeah. Heartbreak, though, again. Man, we had a real tight opening 3-0. Start the day. Map 4 affair with Mars Hill falling out. But this one, by far, one of those that you look at and say, woulda, coulda, shoulda on both sides. Man.
Yeah.
And if Thresh is even a second later to that gunfight, how different does that look, by the way? I mean, you want to talk about the opportunities in front of CSUN. St. Edwards just able to catch him just enough. Tough scenes, but a hell of a run for CSUN. You can't feel too bad about finishing top 12.
No, definitely cannot. Just put up a fight the whole way through, substitute or not. Just a great run, but not enough to get through St. Edwards. Big congratulations to them. They are our 7th team qualifying to the CCL LAN, which means that we only have one more left, and well, they do it in hell of a fashion, man. They definitely make it interesting. That is for sure. Not an easy road by any means.
No, not at all. Look back at the series. Started off with just undeniable control from St. Edwards. Followed up in similar manner by CSUN and the Search and Destroy. The Expo was tight on both sides. Hotel Hardpoint, a thriller. Capped off with a round 10 affair here by St. Edwards. So 3 of our 4 here in the LAN qualifier have been set. One more spot, though, remains. St. Clair, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. Both teams were there last year. Only one can rejoin us here in the 2023 season. That's our final matchup, our final LAN qualifier to come in the backside of the break. Do not go anywhere. It's a grudge match that has seen it played out a number of times, but none more important than this matchup right coming up next after the break. Be right back.